This is the first video that I'm doing for this channel. I thought it would probably be a good idea to talk about how I got from being the, let's say, there to here. So I used to be the social outcast. I rode the short bus to school. Okay, I'm not kidding. I was on the short bus because they thought that I was, you know. So now here I am, 20 years later, ish, 19, technically 19 years later. Okay, so we're 19 years later. I've got a job. I make pretty decent money. I'm not getting rich, but I'm surviving. I'm able to pay my bills. I don't actually need a side gig. I'm able to pay my bills with my day job. It's sometimes it's kind of a grueling job, but it pays the bills, and it doesn't actively make me happy, but it also doesn't actively make me unhappy. So, you know, I think that matters. And yeah, so I just want to talk about kind of where I started and where I am now. So when I was in high school, well, not just high school, elementary school, middle school, and high school, I was on the drugs. I was on the Ritalin, the Adderall, the Concerta. I think I was on some stuff that I can't even name, to be honest. And I was that kid that was always in trouble, behavioral issues, things like that, and that was all through school. Like, and I took I was on a lot of medication. I mean, I was taking meds twice a day. I'd have to leave class early so they could give me my meds, and then I'd have to leave. I'd have to get off school a few minutes early so I could go to the nurse's office and get my meds, and so I was that kid. So it was particularly bad in high school. I had a few friends. I'm not gonna say I had no friends. I wasn't zero friends, but I didn't have a lot of friends, and I tended not to get along with the crowd that you want to get along with when you're in high school. Let's just say that. I'm not gonna say I was bullied elementary school and middle school. It wasn't so much a thing in high school. We didn't really have a whole lot of bullying in our high school. Probably saw that more on the school bus than you did on the in the school itself. But apparently, so they tell me that people couldn't stand me so much that they needed to put me on the short bus. Okay, now I think I need to clarify. Anyone that says that anyone that jokes around about somebody being on the short bus, they have no idea what they're talking about. It wasn't a short bus. It was a long van, okay? It was a long maroon van that said Snoqualmie Valley School District for official use only on the side, okay? That was my ride. I can't remember the lady's name. She was the nicest lady in the world, though. I don't know. Some old lady named Joanne or something. I don't know, something like that. But nicest lady in the world, and good woman. Same thing with the detention lady at our school. I was always in detention, and it wasn't detention because of the stuff the cool kids were doing, okay? I was not doing the stuff the cool kids were doing and then getting sent to detention, okay? I was not doing, I don't know. I was just that misbehaved kid is the best I can describe it. I was constantly at the principal's office and in detention because I was misbehaving. They were always, I got kicked out. I had so many classes that they only passed me because the teacher didn't want me for another year. I have it on good authority. I have been told by someone that I think is reasonably reliable that my name was, and I quote, spoken in vain in the teachers' lounges. So I was that kid, okay? I was that kid. And so probably the only thing that saved me was that eggnog latte. This is where it's at. Probably the only thing that saved me was that I wanted to go into the Navy. That had always kind of been my thing. And looking back on it now, to be honest, that was never going to happen. Okay. But that being said, I had to graduate high school to get into the Navy. And I graduated just by the skin of my teeth, man. I graduated, I think I had a 1.73 GPA, which I think is a D- average is how that works. It's funny because I did okay my freshman year in high school, but after that, it just, So the teachers hated me. I didn't really get along that well with people. I wasn't really involved with a lot of the activities, stuff like that. But so I did graduate high school. And then after I graduated high school, the Navy required me to be off medication for a full year before I could get the waiver to get in. So I went cold turkey on the medications. I got off everything, and I have not been on since. I have not been on any, whatever you call them. I don't even know what you call those kind of drugs. But Ritalin, Concerta, that kind of stuff. I have not been on any of that since 2005. And as you can see, I'm functioning just fine. So I did the Navy thing. I didn't last long in the Navy. That's a whole nother story. It's a hilarious story. I'm not like dishonorably discharged or anything like that. But I did get discharged, and it is a hilarious story. And I will talk that story. That story is its own story. So that'll be on another video. But I did try to go into the Navy. I actually went in for some pretty high level stuff. I think I went in for they offered me either sonar or nuclear weapons. And I think I had decided I was going to do sonar, but they had offered me, because I scored really high on the ASVAB. I scored 90 or something on the ASVAB. And at that point, it's basically what do you want to do here in the Navy, sir? And that's, I wanted submarines. I'd always wanted to be in submarines. I still love submarines. Nothing gets me going as much as a good submarine flick. Hunt for Red October, Crimson Tide. The newest one they came out with it's really a bad submarine flick, but it was good. Hunter Killer with Gerard Butler as the captain. Oh man, you had to turn your brain off, but I loved it. It was a fun movie. But so I did that. Came back from the Navy, and that's when it got hard, okay? Because I really actually had to live with the fact that I wasn't on the drugs anymore, and it took probably, I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to say all the effects are completely gone. I mean, there's some, when you're on, even if whether you need them or not, those mind-altering drugs, there's some long-term effects. It changes it changes some thinking processes. Your brain gets wired a certain way. But that being said, I would say it probably took 5 years before I was really mostly out of the influence of any of that. And that was, I mean, multiple jobs. I was always getting fired. I got fired. Okay. I got the first one fired from McDonald's. Yes, I got fired from McDonald's. Another story. I'll tell you that story. Second one, I don't know, a year later, fired from Arby's. Then, 3 years after that, fired from Staples. Okay, technically I wasn't fired, but it was if you don't quit, you're going to get fired. So it was fired. Okay. And then I did my own gig for, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 years. Office Depot, fired. Let's see. Mountain Mist bottled water. Again, it was a mutual decision that it wasn't the thing for me, but kind of fired. Okay, where else have I gotten fired from? Okay, so then I did my own thing again for a little bit, and then I worked at a Ford dealership. Fired. Let's see. And then I did my own thing for a little bit, and then I worked at a Chevy dealership. Fired. That's 7. So, yeah, so there's stories there. And however, I finally got a grip probably 4 or 5 years ago. And my two most recent jobs both ended 100% amicably. Well, the current job I'm on, but the job before that, I left completely of my own accord to pursue a better opportunity. And I give my manager there a lot of credit. He probably helped get me over the last, figuring out how to become a functional employee and human being and everything. So I left that job, and that was actually I was a detailer at a BMW dealership, which I've been into car detailing and kind of thing for a while. I wanted to do it, and I did it for a year and a half, and it was dealership detail work is really hard work. It's not you're not there with a little brush, perfecting people's $100,000 cars. You're doing commercial scale vehicle reconditioning, and it's a really hard gig. And so I after about a year and a half of it, I came to the conclusion that it was just going to destroy my body. And so I decided I was better off to get more of I thought I was getting an IT job, but the job that I'm in right now is most definitely not IT. Unfortunately, I can't really talk a whole lot about it, but I work in the gaming industry. I do not PC gaming, gambling type stuff. I can't go really deeper into it than that, but I get to travel a lot, which is nice. It's kind of grueling because I travel every single week at this point. Like I'm on the road 3 or 4 days a week, many weeks. I think I've seen as many as 5 days on the road. So, like I said, the job itself isn't particularly fulfilling, but being constantly on the road, seeing things, I've seen everything cool there is to see in my state on all of the seasons, all the different seasons I've seen. So it's kind of cool watching the different seasons pass by as you're on the road. It's kind of cool. So that's how I got kind of from functionless human being to today, where I am a gainfully employed person. I probably make enough money that if I really, really wanted to buy a house, I probably could. I'd have to be picky about where it was and what I ended up with, but I could probably buy a house if I really wanted to, but that's another story. But I just wanted to give you guys an idea, since this is the first idea, how I went from where I was to where I am today. So thanks for watching the video if you made it this far.